Okay, guys, we're going to get started real quick. If you want to take your seats. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah. Okay, everybody on Zoom, if you just want to bear with us for 2 more minutes. Yeah, we have the whole place to us, so sit wherever you can see best. Anywhere.
I feel like I'm playing my vote back with this.
All right, good afternoon, Boston Extra Lifers, and welcome to the official Extra Life 2022 kickoff. The Children's Miracle Network team at Boston Children's Hospital is ecstatic to kickstart the 2022 fundraising season with you today and to thank you and celebrate all that you achieved in 2021. Last year, Extra Life at Boston Children's Hospital raised over $410,000. Yeah, that's right. Give it an applause. Between 788 participants. Our goal today is to equip and empower you with the resources and confidence to exceed last year's total. Let's play our way to 500K. Yeah, I think it's doable. Next slide, Brooke. To start off today's kickoff, I'd like to introduce you to Emmy, Rosie, and Franny, our 2022 champions. Emmy, Rosie, and Franny have a rare blood disorder and need transfusions to survive. They visit Boston Children's every 21 days for expert care that keeps them healthy and happy. Look at that. Aren't they the cutest?
3, 2, 1.
I think they've truly grown up at Boston Children's.
I like playing bingo, seeing clowns, and seeing the dog therapy.
I was born with a genetic blood disorder, and when we found out that there were children with the same disorder who were in need of families, we knew that we wanted to adopt. We went to China 3 times and adopted the girls, and each time, truly, Boston Children's Hospital was the first stop we made when we got home.
It's been a roller coaster since then, but I envy no man in this world because thalassemia has brought me all of the most important people in my life.
At least every 3 weeks, they need to get a blood transfusion. It's a full day thing. They miss a day of school. You know, it involves IVs and needles. They're all incredibly compassionate. Emmy has the toughest time getting her IV, and she might be crying or upset. And, you know, her sisters come running to her side.
I would say, like, it's okay. We support each other.
They work with the Laughter League, Paw Prints, Child Life Specialists, Seacrest Studios.
Let's give it up for our friend Emmy. Woo!
Art therapy.
But mine's a bunny with a flower and a carrot. Mine's a duck with an extra nose.
There's no amount of gratitude that we could demonstrate that would adequately repay everything that we've received.
People ask, why do you share your story? If it raises awareness, gets one more person to donate, then that makes it worth it.
All right. At Boston Children's, we raise funds to support life-saving care. Boston Children's Hospital has been ranked as the nation's #1 children's hospital for the last 9 years, with all of our specialties ranking in the top 10. Families from all over the United States and nearly 100 countries come to Boston Children's for care they can't get anywhere else around the world. We care for kids with rare diseases and complex conditions. We're world leaders. At Boston Children's, we've cured more childhood diseases than any other hospital in the country. Our research breakthroughs found the cure for sickle cell. You help kids be kids. You reduce stress and speed healing, and you help us find cures. And now we're going to hear from Dr. Churchwell.
President and CEO here at Boston Children's Hospital. Kids are 100% of our future, and I want to thank you for helping make that future healthier and brighter. We simply could not do what we do without fundraisers like you. You and your team are a critical part of the Boston Children's team, helping to care for children in our neighborhood and children across the globe. More than just your local pediatric hospital, Boston Children's is where the world comes for answers.
Where's it go? Yeah, does it go there?
We treat more kids with rare disease and complex conditions than any other hospital. As a fundraiser, you're by our side when a new medicine is developed and when a child enrolls in life-saving clinical trials. Boston Children's has cured more childhood diseases than any other hospital, created vaccines for polio and measles, the first successful chemotherapy treatment, the first successful repair for congenital heart condition, and so much more. Imagine what your support will make possible next. Your efforts are making an impact right now on our kids in our local communities who are served by our local and regional network, including 11 community health centers. No child should suffer because of their background, community, or country. Through our 300 global health programs, kids around the world have access to the nation's top-ranked care. You are also a shoulder families can lean on. When a child is sick, a family's life goes into crisis. You meet needs insurance won't cover, such as parking and meal vouchers, housing for those who travel far for our care, and a hub of resources that help parents focus on what matters most, their child. You stock the playrooms and bring in the clowns and therapy dogs. You're behind the special touches that allow kids to be kids, even as they fight for their lives. Your impact is felt in every corner of Boston Children's, and I can't thank you enough for your help.
All right. So up first, I'd like to welcome our first guest speaker of the day, Michaela Goldammer. Michaela is the manager of the Northeast Cause Partnerships at Children's Miracle Network Hospitals.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Bree, so much for inviting me to come share today. I can't see you, but I hope you all can see me, whether that be in person or virtually. Like Bree said, my name is Michaela Goldammer. I am a cause partnership manager for Children's Miracle Network Hospitals on the national team. What that really means is I get the opportunity every day to work with our awesome programs, learning from and sharing from all of the amazing things that you are doing locally to make sure that we are making the biggest impact at all of our local hospitals. I always like to start by sharing really how I view the impact that you all make as individuals to your local hospital. So at Boston Children's, you have so much amazing equipment. You just heard all of these great things that are being implemented within your local community because of the funds that you are raising. And I always really like to make the analogy of going on a plane ride. And please stick with me. I promise it'll all make sense in like 2 minutes. But I want you to think of going on a plane ride. Hopefully everyone has been on at least one plane ride. And I want you to think about the experience maybe that you had on a plane ride of, maybe it was a bargain flight that you got. It was a last minute thing. You're not getting any checked bags, or it's definitely at an added cost. You're in a really small plane. You're not getting any snacks. There's definitely not like a TV screen in front of you. And it's just like not the best experience. I mean, you're getting from point A to point B, but it's not like the best travel that you've ever had. And then I want you to also think if you have ever heard of or maybe gotten to experience first class, right? You're getting checked bags. You're having a flight attendant come to you and saying, here's all of our amazing snacks. Please pick whatever you want and let me know if you need more. Maybe they're giving you blankets. You're getting extra space in your chair. You're getting 2 armrests. You're not wrestling the person next to you. And you're getting all of these added amenities that make the experience of the travel that you have to go through so much easier and so much better. And I like to relate that back to our children's hospitals. So without Children's Miracle Network dollars, hospitals would exist, and hospitals do exist. But with all of your support, we get to have that first class care. We get to make sure that there are all those amazing fun programs like music therapy in our Ryan Seacrest studios. We get to make sure that when a kid is going through treatment, they understand what they're going through. And we also get to implement different things like child life, which if you haven't gotten it explained to you, I swear if I went into college knowing what child life is, I probably would have switched my major. Child life are those awesome people that go in and sit with kiddos through treatment. So they're the ones that are explaining our chemotherapy to kiddos. They're the ones talking to siblings, making sure that siblings are understanding what their brothers and sisters are going through. And they're really the people that are there from point A to point B, and making sure that every kid that has an experience at the hospital, taking them away from birthday parties, taking them away from experiencing the things that you should get to experience as a kid growing up, but having to be stuck in the hospital, they make that experience so much better. And people like child life specialists and all of our therapies would not be possible without our awesome folks like you. And I also wouldn't be amiss to say how much your impact makes on the amazing equipment that not only impacts the local community and the local kids, but like you've already heard in the videos, you have people coming from around the country and around the world into your backyard, and you get to support so many people. And it's just an amazing impact that you are creating. So hopefully you can understand how thankful I am for your teams and for all of the awesome impact that Extra Life gets to have on your community. I love our Extra Life participants, and I can say that Extra Life is my favorite program. I am a dance marathon program student. So the reason that I think Extra Life is my favorite program of all of Children's Miracle Network hospitals is because of participants like you and the amazing stories that I get to hear and the crazy challenges and the crazy things that you do that bring people in and unite everyone together to make sure that they understand the impact that you're making, but that you're having fun doing it. I also have to add on to the We're Number One train, because if you didn't know, you are also the highest group of Extra Lifers in the Northeast in fundraising this year as well. So you can add that to your list of number one things. But yeah, this all really started 14 years ago with an amazing little girl named Victoria Edmond. And she made an impact on Doc, who was a local radio DJ. And you'll definitely get to hear a little bit more about their story in like a couple minutes when Bree plays the video. But truly, I got to meet Victoria's family and Doc about 6 months ago, and they are blown away by the impact and the continued growth of Extra Life across the country. This started with one guy, and it was all of his friends in their local community in Texas. And it's just expanded into this crazy, amazing thing that I am in awe of, and all of us at Children's Miracle Network hospitals are in awe of. So hopefully you're getting excited, you're getting ready, you're thinking of all of your fun challenges. Know that I am here to cheer you on along the way. Hopefully you've gotten a couple emails from me saying how excited I am for the fundraising that you've done in the past, and you'll get some more communication from me in the future. But if you ever need anything, feel free to reach out. And yeah, keep rocking. Woo! Thanks, Bree.
Thanks, Michaela. I don't know if you can hear, but there's applause. Yep. So thank you, Michaela, for taking time out of your really busy schedule to talk to us today. But like Michaela said, we're about to watch a video about how Extra Life started. And I hope you guys enjoy. And if you have tissues, maybe break them out, because I always cry at this at this video.
Whenever a family has a child with an illness, you never know where that journey is going to take you. And we always prayed for a miracle.
She was the flyer. She's the one that they would, get and throw into the air.
She was this cute, petite, tiny little girl with just a head full of long blonde hair. She wasn't afraid of heights. In fact, she wasn't really afraid of anything.
I've got a story just like anyone else. A wise man said, this too shall pass. Oh yeah. Come on, I'm gonna go all the way this time. Flying, never coming down. Gonna reach the stars. I'm going high.
We had noticed she had just gotten weak. I said, what's the matter with you? I said, you're a tumbler. You can tumble and do backflips, without knowing. And it progressed from that to she fainted a couple of times. And we thought it was, oh, she's got a virus or whatever. So I took her into the doctor the next day, and they immediately sent us to Texas Children's Hospital.
She was just, from the moment I met her, she was about 11 years old, she just had a sort of magical presence about her, and nothing would keep that girl down.
Victoria was diagnosed at the age of 11 and a half with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. The cure rate for leukemia is the 80%. When Victoria was told that she had cancer, that's the only time we saw her cry. And Dr. Dreyer walked in and told her that 80%, 85% rate cure. So Victoria accepted that. She said she wasn't worried anymore.
In today's world, we cure, go away forever, about 80% of children. In 1965, we cured 5% of children. So the improvement is unbelievable. And Victoria actually had a particular subtype of ALL that the cure rate should have even been better than that.
Victoria's treatment was to take 2.5 years. And at the end of 2.5 years of chemo, Victoria was to be finished with her treatment.
So during that time, she had some good days, she had some bad days.
When she was sick, she still would put on her cheerleading suit and go do cheerleading. I have lots of pictures and important memories in my office, and one of the ones that I get to see every day is my beautiful picture of Victoria as an angel at our Camp Periwinkle. I'm the camp doctor. I've been the camp doctor for 20 plus years, and I took a little girl who was suffering from cystic fibrosis and cancer, and she was in Tori's cabin. But Victoria would come around 11:30 in the morning, 12, get this little girl all ready for the day's activities for the afternoon. And she got this little girl ready to go to the dance. I will never forget that little girl, that dance. What a wonderful support Tori was, because without Tori, this little girl would never have had the camp experience that she did.
She feels great. How does my heart sound?
It's a little off. It kind of sounds like a bunny. I like bunnies.
Oh, you like bunnies?
I love them.
Okay, you're good. Okay, thank you. Now I'm going to hand this over to Dr. Frickback and see what she has to say.
Well, what's your name again?
My name is Bunny McBunkbunk.
Well, Bunny McBunkbunk, today our breaking story is about a little dog named Arfie. Let's ask Arfie.
In 2005, Texas children held their first radiothon with the Children's Miracle Network Hospital, and that's where we met Doc.
We were doing a radiothon at a radio station in Houston, Texas, and she was the kind of kid that you could hear her coming long before she got to your soundproof studio. She was very full of energy. She was just 10 or 11 years old and was already considered a long-term survivor of leukemia.
You know, here she is, lying up in bed, tubes connected to her. She didn't go and cry about it or bemoan her situation. She went around to try to visit these other kids to make them feel better. And I think that's the legacy of her.
At the end of 2.5 years, when Victoria's treatment was over, they performed another spinal tap and a bone marrow test. The Dr. Dreyer called us. I remember it was a Thursday, and she said, "I cannot believe this, but Victoria has relapsed." Because of the seriousness of her relapse, they told Victoria that her next option was to receive a bone marrow transplant.
Our community really rallied behind our family and our church. You know, we even had signs, "Pray for Victoria." So it wasn't just our family. It affected everybody.
And she made it through, and 9 months later, she relapsed again.
Joellen called me, and she had just the worst news ever, and that is that Victoria's cancer had returned.
So this was 3 times she was told that she had cancer. And so we began another journey to receive a second bone marrow transplant.
Victoria at that time decided she was going to fight and entered the hospital for what would turn out to be an extremely long stay, many, many, many months. And so as a result of this extended stay, I saw that there wasn't as much for her to do as you can stay placated with as a young person.
And he asked her at that time, he said, "Victoria, do you like to play video games?" She said, "I love to play video games."
So I put the word out to a website that I worked with called Sarcastic Gamer, and the online community responded in droves. What I expected to be a couple of games that might come from here and there instead turned out to be things coming from all over the world.
And we started receiving boxes of games.
We had games that came in from Asia and Europe, and
He was receiving games from all over Texas, all over the United States.
so much so that it became sort of overwhelming. Tori had to end up giving it away to other kids who were also stuck in the hospital.
She was the one to go around to be that extra person for all these other children.
It just doesn't seem right that a child should be sick. It's not right that a child stay in a hospital and that they're confined to the hospital and their 4 walls and they're not experiencing the other things that children are doing.
She couldn't be around other people that could have any infections. You know, when she was out, she had to wear her masks.
During this time, Victoria contracted a fungal infection, which is from a very low immune system. and she had little to no immune system left.
And I asked her what she wanted for Christmas. And she said, I'd really just like to get out of this hospital and go see Christmas lights. Christmas lights are something my family and I go see together all the time, and I can't even leave to go see Christmas lights.
We knew that during the final stages that we weren't going to have Victoria with us much longer.
We were only outside for about 10 minutes, but it was a very special 10 minutes. It wasn't a lot of talking. We just looked at lights. And after about 10 minutes, we rolled back upstairs to her room, and we had our picture made in front of a little Christmas tree. And I said goodbye. And that picture is one of my most prized possessions, because it was taken just moments before I saw my friend for the last time. And Victoria passed away before I could get back to see her.
The miracle that we received was that we had her for the time that we had her.
I brought her picture and I just put that on the table. And I said, you know, this is what we look at every day during this radiothon, during this campaign.
Victoria passed away on January 21st, 2008, after a 4-year battle with leukemia, failed bone marrow transplants, and fungal infections.
It was as a result of Tori's death, sitting at her funeral, that I made up my mind that I needed to be doing this, not just a couple days a year with a radiothon, that I needed to be doing this with my life.
Doc wanted to do something special for Victoria, in memory of Victoria. And he came up with a fundraiser called Extra Life. And this fundraiser would be for the gaming community.
It just occurred to me that gamers should be able to do the things they love to help sick and injured kids as well. And so Extra Life was born. 1,200 gamers showed up on October 15th in 2008.
With this year's Extra Life Gaming Marathon, we're helping save kids' lives. You don't even have to be a crime-fighting superhero.
Each and every year afterwards, it continued to grow. Gamers responded by being able to game for their local hospitals. The next year, 4,500 gamers showed up, raised almost $500,000. The year after that, it was 15,000 gamers raising $1 million, and the next year, 17,000 gamers raising $2.1 million. Video games are like the #1 form of entertainment on planet Earth, have been now for quite a while.
Anyone could be involved in Extra Life.
Gamers aren't that pale kid in mom and dad's basement. They're mom and dads, they're aunts and uncles.
A young child to an older adult to a grandparent.
You can take all that fun of playing games for 24 hours and reach out to your friends and bring them to your environment.
Or if you want to play a board game, a card game.
The funds that Extra Lifers raise can go to a variety of purposes in the local area at the local hospitals.
So maybe your extra $20 or your extra $50 goes to curing 87% of children with leukemia.
You might buy an isolette for a baby that is born the size of a cell phone and has to fight for its life.
I can guarantee you that money goes directly back to these children to keep this from happening again to someone else's child.
Getting involved with Extra Life is really simple. You just have to go to the website at extra-life.org, put in a few details in there, join a team if you'd like to, or create one. After that, it's as simple as fundraising with your friends and family. Let them know why you are doing this. They should know that the money you raise is going to stay local in your community.
We never will truly lose Victoria because she will live for all of us through this.
It started with a little girl in Orange, Texas.
I think that's all we have to say for today.
All we have to say today. So
we'll see
see
you
you
tomorrow
later
at
on
news at
whatever time it is
at Victoria's house. Bye.
Isn't that video a tearjerker? I cry every time I watch it. But it's hard to move on from that. But moving on from that, we're going to go on to our first set of awards of the day. So throughout today's event, I want to recognize a couple of individuals who continue to be rock stars, not only for Extra Life, but for Boston Children's Hospital and the kids that come to Boston Children's to get better. So kicking off our first set of awards, we have the Level Up Award. So this award signifies the individual who had the highest year-over-year increase in fundraising from 2020 to 2021. With a 5,350% increase in fundraising, this award goes to Chris Reynolds. Unfortunately, Chris is not here with us today, but give him a shout out in Discord, Facebook, maybe on Zoom if you're catching us on Zoom right now. But definitely say congratulations to Chris because that is a huge achievement. The second award of this portion is the Ace of Outreach Award. This award is going to an individual who had the highest number of unique donations in 2021. So by that, I mean the highest number of different individuals. So with 610 unique donations, this award goes to Michael DePuro. You're welcome. You can say something if you like to say something or you're not to. Oh. Okay.
How many wrestling injuries is that?
Thank you, Michael. All right, guys. So we'll have two more award sections of today's presentation, but just stay tuned for more exciting things like that. Moving on, now that you know what Extra Life is, a little bit about Boston Children's and Children's Miracle Network, we're going to dive into the deep end of where's your money going. So first, we're going to kick off with this video about the Every Child Fund.
You make every child's day a little brighter. With furry friends who comfort and heal. Good boy. And a place for families during long hospital stays. Good night, Mom.
Or when they need a little extra.
You help find cures for sick kids today and tomorrow.
Dried up all the rain, and the itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again.
Thank you for giving to the Every Child Fund at Boston Children's Hospital.
Through your fundraising efforts with Extra Life at Boston Children's Hospital, 100% of your funds go towards the Every Child Fund. The Every Child Fund is our most vital fund that empowers us to respond to a changing world with one goal: to give every child a healthy future. What does a child miss most at the hospital? Being a kid, celebrating small milestones, hugging their pets, playing with friends. These moments comfort a child and keep their spirits up. Happiness promotes healing, and your fundraising for Extra Life brings childhood into their lives with play, celebrations, and furry friends. Our next guest speaker is Kirsten Getchell. Kirsten is the Child Life Clinical and Program Manager within Child Life Specialist at Boston Children's Hospital, and we'll be hearing from her and two of our Child Life Tech Specialists.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kirsten Getchell. I am a Child Life Clinical and Program Manager here at Boston Children's Hospital in our Child Life Services Department. We are sorry we couldn't be with you via Zoom. My colleagues Ryan and Kevin are here in this recording. We want to provide a little glimpse into the work we do at Boston Children's Hospital. So I've been at Children's for about 20 years. I am a child life specialist, and my job has been to focus on a child's social, emotional, and developmental needs, helping patient and families cope with and understand their illness and hospitalization. We do that in a variety of ways using different skills. We've done a lot of research, and it's shown that the work that we do as child life specialists helps to lessen or decrease stress and anxiety. We help children and teens with autism behavioral needs practice different calming techniques, which are so important in the hospital. We reduce the need for anesthesia or sedation, and we ease family adjustments to a child's illness. Within our umbrella of child life services, we have many different roles and programs. We have music therapists, we have artists in residence, we have tutors, we have clowns, we have our paw prints, our dog teams that visit, and finally, we have our Secret Studio staff. We know that many of you are aware and know about our Secret Studios. Previously, our Extra Life team and partners have provided amazing philanthropic support for our Secret Studio staff. Our Secret Studio is a state-of-the-art multimedia studio that broadcasts on our hospital's closed circuit network, and it's called The Hub. So patients and families are able to interact with live shows. So they're able to request songs, they're able to play bingo and have bingo prizes delivered up to their rooms. There's times when our Secret Studio staff work with patients to create live shows. Some of those are our most favorite. And so we wanted to give a little more update and some details on our Secret Studios. We can't believe the Secret Studio have been at Children's for the past 7 years. In the past year alone, we've hosted and had over 740 live studio programs. We have over 1,400 total patient encounters, over 515 hours of live studio broadcasts, and over 200 hours of pre-recorded content. It's been amazing to see the work that our Secret Studio staff has been able to do. You know, during COVID, we had to pivot a lot. A lot of our in-person programming for patients and families was canceled because of the pandemic. And the studio was a beacon of light during COVID. They really created a sense of community when it felt like community was lost. Worldwide, but especially in the hospital. Our Secret Studio team was constantly and continues to constantly think of ways to improve the programming. So now patients and families are not only able to call in for song requests, but they can text in. They're able to interview celebrities via Zoom with our Secret Studio staff. They're able to host shows from their rooms. Previously, you know, we've had different celebrities come in, but with COVID and continued COVID restrictions, some of our celebrities are not able to come in, so we do virtual visits. And a lot of our patients now can't leave their rooms for various reasons. But it's been amazing that our Secret Studio staff have really found a way to help lessen the feeling of isolation and really help create a sense of community here at Children's with these patients and families. I honestly do not know what we would do without them and without the care that they've been able to provide. And so next, what I want to do is hand it over to our patient tech specialist, Ryan and Kevin. Not only do our Secret Studio provide amazing and vital resources to patients and families, but our patient tech specialists do too. Our department has always believed that this role is important, but through COVID, the hospital leadership realized that how essential this role is. Our patient tech specialists remained on site throughout the pandemic and continue to. They've helped us pivot and offer virtual programming and interventions in a way that we never thought we'd be able to do. So I'm going to hand it over to Ryan.
Thank you, Kirsten. So I've been here for about a little over 7 years now, which is crazy to think about. And I've really been the only person in this role up until November. And that's the role of the patient tech specialist here at Boston Children's Hospital. Every program that Kirsten has already kind of talked about, we help support, as well as running our own programs, which is kind of crazy to think about here. To kind of give you an idea, these are just a small handful of the different things that the tech support roles have done here in the Child Life Department. We maintain all of the devices in Child Life. As you can imagine, when an iPad can't play Angry Birds, the hospital IT department isn't quick to answer that question, which is kind of one of the reasons this role was created. So we maintain roughly 50 laptops, about 350 to 400 iPads, everything from the original iPad to brand new iPads that we got donated a few weeks ago. About 150 to 200 gaming devices, from consoles to handhelds to carts on wheels. to all kinds of one-off devices like Apple TVs and VR headsets and everything. And overall, it's about $500,000 roughly worth of tech that we get to both play with and support. Kevin and I are also the kind of first line of consulting for most IT questions the Child Life Department has. And over my time here, I can answer a lot of IT stuff now. Just basic IT stuff, but also kind of more specific hospital-related IT stuff like our Get Well TV system or our SpectraLink mobile phones that everyone carries for essentially our updated pagers, which are fun. We also help with some holiday celebration stuff, which includes for COVID, it was impossible to get Santa to come visit because he was staying safe at the North Pole. So we had to get creative. And we actually got Santa on a Zoom call on an iPad, put that iPad on a pole on wheels, and actually wheeled that around to all 400 inpatient bed spaces and a few other areas of the hospital. So Santa could visit all the kids here and still get to have those great interactions. We also get to run Star Wars Day, which is super fun. As one of the resident nerds of the Child Life Department, it's my favorite day of the year, which is now blown out into a whole day festival with games and the studio being involved and characters and costumes walking around. So we get to be in charge of that, which is fun. We also helped with a bunch of different charity things that have been involved here. Disney, for instance, has installed a handful of different interactive art pieces. These include both interactive murals through augmented reality that are spread all throughout the hospital, where hold up your smartphone, parts of the mural start to flash, and you can push different parts on your phone, and the mural itself comes to life, and there's music and voice acting and all kinds of stuff. It's super fun. But there's also digital art installations, which are IMAX built into these cases where you hold up these very cute little cards that look like this, that have QR codes on the back. And it causes the IMAX or the art to come to life and play all these different things, which are really, really cool. We also do movie showings with the help of charity groups like Starlight and Lollipop Theater, where we can show movies that are still in theaters. And we get them for about 30 days. We get to roll this very large movie theater around into different bed spaces. Before COVID, we could use one room. We had a popcorn machine. It could drop a big screen from the ceiling, and we do full days and turn it into a whole movie theater. These movie showings are also can happen for end-of-life situations, which can be very fulfilling to be able to help out a family for a request like that. We're messing around with some 3D printing stuff, which includes just memory making, but also creating tools that are really expensive that we can do on the cheap to help explain to patients certain things. As Kirsten mentioned, a lot of our programs going virtual. That included teaching the clowns and our dogs how to use Zoom so we could still provide those programs to patients who, because of COVID, couldn't leave their bed spaces, and the dogs and the clowns couldn't come into the hospital. So that fell on us to kind of figure out ways to do it. And of course, the reason I think a lot of you are involved with all of this is the video game aspect of it. And we do a lot of video gaming as patient tech specialists. It includes kind of the big stuff like VR headsets that we've used to help patients during various procedures, to help to kind of take them away from, getting a needle or having blood drawn, or just for fun and distraction. We do that as well. But we also do just straight gaming. We partnered with the studio before COVID to do a weekly gaming session. We would set up all kinds of stuff, and kids would come down and hang out, or they could make Mario Maker levels in their room and watch us try to beat them. And those were really hard, but they loved watching us struggle. And now with the addition of Kevin, since November, we've also been able to focus much more on bedside gaming and kind of do more individual stuff. And I will let Kevin explain that whole part of it.
Thanks, Ryan. Hey, everyone. My name is Kevin, and I started this position in November of last year. And so far, we've worked with over 50 gaming referral patients. We're currently doing 10 sessions a week, but we're aiming for 15 sessions a week. And some of the gaming consoles that we use include the PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Wii, Nintendo Switch. But we're hoping to use more of the latest gaming consoles like the PS5, Xbox Series, and the new Steam Deck that just came out this year. And part of my role is to check new gaming referrals sent from the day before or early in the morning, and then schedule to do these gaming sessions based on my availability through the week. Most of my patients prefer to play local multiplayer games on the Nintendo Switch, especially Super Smash Brothers or NBA 2K22. And I think my favorite part about these sessions is the competitiveness that my patients bring, which makes each session memorable and fun for both myself and the patient. Most of my sessions are memorable, and I think one of my favorite gaming sessions was with a young patient named David. He didn't have any experience playing FIFA, which is a soccer game, but wanted to try it out. So for the next 5 weeks of working in these gaming sessions with him, he learned how to maneuver around on the soccer field and score points against the opponent. After he was discharged, I received praises from his mom for being by his side to distract him from his regular medical procedures, but also giving her some time to rest and do other stuff. I can't stress enough about how therapeutic it is for patients to play video games with someone at the hospital while going through medical procedures, but also it gives parents time to do their own thing. And so, now I'm going to pass it over to Ryan for more stories.
And I'm sorry, I'm going to jump in real quick. I just really want to echo all that Kevin and Ryan have said. The work that the both of them have done, specifically with the gaming referrals, that has been the most recent programming that's been established. This has provided an opportunity for patients and families that don't want to do artwork. They don't want to play a board game. They really want to play video games. That is what most kids want to do when they're outside the hospital. So when they're able to do it with staff here, they can feel like normal kids. They can have those interactions that are so important and developmentally needed at the different ages. So Kevin and Ryan both provide opportunities for normalization, socialization, and really help kids and teens be kids and teens at the hospital. So many patients and families do not have a lot of control in the hospital. They have to take their medicine. They have to get up when the doctor and nurse say they have to get up. They have to stay in the hospital. They don't have the choice of going home. They can't have all their friends visit because we have visitor restrictions right now because of COVID. Ryan and Kevin help to provide a sense of normalcy and a sense of control. Because when Ryan and Kevin go in the room to offer gaming opportunities, they can say no. They can also say, yes, I want to play this game, or no, I want to play this game. So it may seem like a very small thing to some, but I believe I'm actually preaching to the choir. All of you as extra life people know how important it is to have a sense of normalcy. And for many of these kids and teens, playing video games is that sense of normalcy. So Ryan and Kevin's role is essential to the care that we provide to patients and families here at BCH. Sorry, Ryan, to interrupt. I'll let you take it from here.
No problem. To kind of echo all of that, I can't tell you the number of times in the last 7 years I've just played, Mario Kart with a patient, and I can start to see the parents or the caregivers start to tear up a little bit. And the comment is typically something to the effect of, this is the first time my child has engaged since being here, or it's the first time I've seen them kind of act like a kid again since being in the hospital, because once the competitive juices start flowing and the gaming starts, kind of a lot of the other stuff kind of filters out. I've just very recently had an interaction with a patient who she was in the middle of several different surgeries, so had a bit of a longer stay. Was in a double room, so she was confined to her bed because she was in the awaiting her next surgery. Couldn't leave her bed space at all, and because it was a double room, Her bed was completely wrapped with the privacy screen. And I got a call from Child Life saying, hey, can we try VR with this patient and just kind of see if we can brighten her day a little bit. And I came up. It was a patient and her mom at the bedside. Mom, had tears because she was hoping we could try something. And we put the VR headset on her. And about 10 minutes later, we asked how she was doing to make sure she was doing okay. And her response was, I'm on Mars. This is awesome. And she hadn't left her bed space. And we let her borrow the headset for a couple of days. And it was awesome. But these little interactions can also have much more meaning. And one of my, I don't want to say favorite stories because of the outcome, but the most impactful stories from my time here, pre-COVID, occasionally we would there's an area in the hospital called the Patient Entertainment Center, which kind of looks like a big middle school cafeteria, and we can take over this big space. And we would partner with other kind of events coming in, and I would set up what we called BCH Arcade. We basically set up video games all throughout the room. We'd have a VR station. We could drop a big screen and play on a big movie-sized screen. It was always a really good time. It was always open to any kid who was in the hospital who wanted to come play. And this particular event that we did, we partnered with then Boston Celtics player Gordon Hayward. It was a weekend event, and we'd advertised it a little bit kind of right before, and we had a patient come down with a couple of his friends had come in for the weekend to hang out with him, and his parents, and there was a bunch of other kids. But at one point, the patient was sitting next to Gordon Hayward. They're playing NBA 2K against each other. This kid is trash talking a member of the Boston Celtics about how he's not good at basketball video games. Was having a great time. His friends were having a great time. The local news was there. They did a story on him. He was interviewed saying it was one of the best days of his life. And overall, just an incredible day. And then I found out a couple of days later that he'd actually passed away pretty shortly after that event. And in talking with the child life specialist after that, I found out that the parents had taken a bunch of video and a bunch of photos during the gaming event, and they were actually holding on to those as kind of last memory of their son, because it was the last time they saw him be a child. And it was just him playing video games with his friends. Yes, he's also trash talking, a NBA all-star at the same time and having a blast with it, but it was just through video games and hanging out. And that was kind of the last memories that they're holding on to of their son having passed away. So, the work with video games that we can do here, it might seem simple of just playing a video game with a kid, but you never know what that actual impact is going to be on those kids and on those families, where just something as simple as playing NBA 2K is now, a huge thing for that family. So I'm gonna toss it back to Kirsten to wrap us up here. But I thank you for listening.
Thank you, Ryan, and thank you, Kevin. So again, we just want to thank you all from Extra Life as previous partners and hopefully future partners. We are so lucky to have staff like Ryan and Kevin. Ryan and Kevin's programming and the roles provide opportunities for kids to be kids, teens to be teens, creating moments and memories that really truly do last forever. Sometimes patients in the hospital aren't interactive. They become selectively mute. They don't answer questions the doctors and nurses ask. They refuse to do physical therapy. But it's been amazing because you send in Ryan or Kevin to go in and play a video game, to provide VR equipment, and all of a sudden these kids and teens are standing and moving around, meeting their physical therapy goals, and they don't even know it. They're having fun. They're talking to the doctors and nurses about what their favorite video games are, where previously they were selectively mute, not only not answering questions, but not even making eye contact or talking to others. So opportunities like this are available because of our patient tech specialists. And as Ryan mentioned, sometimes some of the requests and the opportunities that we're able to provide, such as a last wish to watch a movie that still in the movie theaters. We're able to provide and set up a movie screening in a movie theater right in our activity room. We couldn't provide this level of support to our patients and families without partners like you all. Our patient tech specialist roles, one is operationally funded through the hospital and one is philanthropically funded. So without the support of partners like you all and Extra Life, we could not do what we do for patients and families. You're a true part of the healing that happens here at Boston Children's and the care that we provide. So thank you on behalf of all of the patients and families here at Boston Children's.
All right. So now that we know a little bit more about the gaming aspects of what happens in the hospital and how this impacts the children that are staying here, I'd like to welcome up Sean Todd, who is the president of the Boston Extra Life Guild. And he's going to give us some insight into some best practices for recruiting and what the guild does.
Okay, thank you. Before I get to my slides, thank you all for being here, those of you are here and those of you who are in virtual land. A little bit about myself before I go into the guild. 48-year-old guy, basically former military, U.S. Army, led a couple teams of auditors through telephone and cable phone and internet kind of companies. And I've been involved in the leadership team on the Boston Guild since its inception in 2013. That being said, next slide. As I said, the guild was founded in 2013, but that's not where it really started. The Jeremy, Doc, who you saw earlier in the previous videos, which I'm glad I did not have to follow Victoria's video because I got a chance to recover before coming up here. I've seen that video for obviously the past 9 years, and it's every time. In 2011, Doc reached out to the various highest grossing cities, I think it was per capita for participants and money raising, and started asking about people in the local markets to form what they call street teams. And you saw the logo on the race car when they presented the NASCAR or whatever that was earlier. And we all wore god-awful orange shirts with that logo. And we basically, there was only a few of us. So I was pretty much the only guy in Boston at the time, basically creating my own events, going out to little bit small businesses, game stores, and just talking to people about Extra Life. We did that for a couple of years until at that point, they looked for, they started with the 6 highest cities and created guilds. And Boston was the very first guild to be created. And it was a test market for the first year. And that's how we started this whole thing. We basically all got together in one big meeting and got to know each other. And then Doc reached out to a gentleman named Eric Chi, myself, and a young lady by the name of Kristen Schiff, and asked us to be the leadership of the team. And we've been going ever since. Well, I've been going ever since. We've had some leadership changes since then. And I'll get to that. So currently I am the guild president, been doing it for about, I think 8 or 9 years of the last, I don't know, so 7 or 8 years of the last 9 that we've been in existence. My vice president is Angela Messier, who's probably somewhere on the in the virtual land here. And then our guild secretary is Louis Cardona, and our guild trainer is Gregory Harris Jones. I refer to him as the guild trainer, but he's really kind of the developer of volunteer talent. He's the guy that basically, we go to events and he helps you hone your speech, hone your pitch. We brought him in as that because he's amazing at doing it. He basically, most of you have been to shows or worked with Greg, and he's amazing. Everyone else, obviously, without really discounting anyone else, everyone else on the team is amazing. What I've learned over the past many years of being in the military and leading auditing teams and this team is that part of being a good leader is not having it your way, honing and allowing your people to do what they're good at. And that's why we have the team that we have now. Angela Luis, Greg, they're all amazing at what they do. And I learned that I'm pretty good at the logistics and the setting up events and the rapport with these events. So we all kind of fallen into our what we're great at. And that's what makes the Boston Guild a great team. And hopefully you guys too. Those of you that aren't that haven't really been doing much as far as events or are new, come on in. Next slide, Brooke, please. So the duties of the Guild, obviously to spread awareness of Extra Life, recruit participants. Actually, I probably have this here on my screen. I probably don't have to keep looking backwards on it, but explore and find new opportunities in efforts to do the above, and above all, have fun. Thank you, Bree. I did say I was good at logistics, evidently not computers. So yeah, what we do is more or less our focus is on recruiting participants. We do a little bit of fundraising at the events that we do, but it's more that's more in lines with having fun at what we do. Angela and Greg have done some great things as far as like creating little jars, and like you get, put money in the jar of what you like the most, and whether it be, Mario or another video game. And usually they run daily contests within that, and whichever jar gets the most donations in it, is the winner for the day. And it's been silliness as far as like edge cut brownies and center brownies and crispy bacon over, soggy bacon. But it's it really does a trick. People like doing it because sometimes when we get to these events, people aren't really into participating as a participant and raising funds, but they want to donate on the spot. So that's one little fun opportunity that they created that goes a long way. So how we do what we achieve the above is we go to local gaming conventions and comic conventions like PAX East. We got Fan Expo Boston coming up in next month, August. We typically are at Anime Boston. We had to skip this year due to lack of ability to have volunteers, and everyone was kind of being tied up through what life as it is at this point. But shows like that we'll continue to do. We'll keep trying every year. We also partner with local game stores. We do have a partnership with Midgard Comics up in Derry, New Hampshire, who's one of our guild members. He owns the store, and he runs an Extra Life marathon right there in the store pretty much every year. And he does I think he also has like comic books that he donates to the hospital as well. Alpha Omega Hobby was one of our recent kind of acquisitions, I should say, from PAX East. They're right in Quincy, and they're looking forward. They've been doing Extra Life events for a while, but they're looking to partner with the hospital and be more involved. So that's really where we stand. We kind of, you can see that group of degenerates there on the screen. That guy in the middle, he's shady. I'd be careful with him. But yeah, it's we just try and have fun doing what we do. We fostered a great team and just a great group of people who are passionate about what we do. And with the help of guys like Greg, who's over here on the left, he's he helps us really kind of be able to pitch this to people to make it a way that people want to be involved. So, and you don't want me talking to people because, as you can tell by me being up here, this is I'm terrible speaking. So that's thank you all for your time, and appreciate it.
Thank you, Sean, for coming up here and giving us a little bit more information about the Guild. Next, we have our second portion of awards of today's event. So the first award of this portion is the Show Me the Money Award. This award is being given to an individual that has gone above and beyond for Boston Children's Hospital in their fundraising efforts over the last 9 years. The Show Me the Money Award goes to Jerry Snook. Jerry, I know you're on Zoom. Oh, I know you're on Zoom, so this is your award. So if everybody on Zoom wants to give Jerry a little shout out. Our second award of this portion is the For Local Kids Award. The For Local Kids Award is going to an individual that is an above and beyond volunteer, both for Extra Life and for Boston Children's Hospital. If you're in the Discord, you might know this individual as someone who can often be found donating blood or helping others where they can. The For Local Kids Award is going to Wild West Dan. Right, Dan, I'm gonna force you to come over here to take a picture with me. All right, guys. Now on to more fun and more guest speakers. Our next speaker is Michael DePiro, who is a guild member of the Boston Extra Life team. So if you want to go on and come on up, Michael. Have your slides up so you can.
All right, thanks everybody. So my name is, like you said, Michael DePiro. I'm here and I'm going to talk about some Extra Life fundraising best practices and tips. I got started with Extra Life in 2017. And really it was my boss at the time, had a bunch of Extra Life stuff up in his office. And I was like, what are all these pins? What's all this stuff that you have behind you? And he explained to me just what Extra Life was all about and did kind of an elevator pitch right then and there of what got him into it and why he's connected with it so much. And so a lot of what I'm going to talk about today is how to set yourself up for success, and then how to really kind of run with it from there and really make it your own. So we can go to the next slide. Oh, okay. Can we go to the next slide? Sorry, it's too far away from the mic. All right, so how do I get started? So some of it's pretty obvious. You go to the Extra Life website and sign up, right? But once you do that, what do you do from there? And so it's important to really set your page up in a way and set your campaign up in a way where it's going to stand out a little bit. So if we can go to the next slide. All right. So once you get your Extra Life page all signed up, you want to start telling your Extra Life story. There's a section of this page where you can set up and really kind of give the why of why you joined Extra Life and what connected you to the cause. Everybody has a different story that they're able to share for this, and it really helps to get people connected to you in a way where I know that one thing that I had to really get across to potential donors at first was like our cause is play games to heal kids, right? And so a lot of it was, well, why do you just play video games all day? And you had to really kind of get from point A of like, all right, I'm playing games online to this is how I'm connected to Boston Children's Hospital. This is where your money's going, and kind of the stuff that we were talking about in previous slides where this is how I connect to the cause, and look at all these great things that your money really does for the hospital that impacts so many. And so moving on to the next. There are lots of different apps and integration opportunities, integration specifically in this case, talking about Facebook fundraisers and things like that. I know when they brought in Facebook fundraisers, it was a real game changer for me because Twitch is one avenue where you can raise money and you can stream games online. But a lot of times if you really kind of limit yourself to Twitch or kind of go in only one direction, really limits the amount of donors that you can connect with. The majority of my donors in general, it was kind of mind-boggling to me when Bree mentioned that I had 610 unique donors since I've been doing this. And so like, yeah, I get a lot of donation dollars each year, but it's coming from a lot of different places. And my Twitch stream only gets probably 2 or 4 viewers on average per time I stream. So if I was just relying on that, I wouldn't be getting the outreach that I need to really bring in a lot of those donation dollars. And so having something like Facebook where I can use that platform to get my ideas to a new audience and go kind of beyond the gaming aspect of fundraising has really helped to set up a good foundation year after year for what I'm trying to do with my fundraising campaigns. Another thing that really helps broaden your donation audience in general is something that's referred to as benevolent gifts. Benevolent gifts refers to one of the things that I work at UKG now, but was Kronos before, which is what more people probably are familiar with. And we had a donation matching program. And so I was able to give a certain amount each year and the company would match that. And it gives you a great talking point. So not only do you get that match from corporate, but you can use that to talk to other people around you without it being like kind of out of left field, like going to somebody's desk with a big few boxes of Girl Scout cookies, being like, "Hey, I got these. You guys want some Samoas?" You know, you're talking about this thing that you're doing, and it helps give credence to the charity itself when you're able to talk about, all right, well, this is a Children's Miracle Network affiliated charity where I get all the money goes to these places at Boston Children's Hospital. And that's why I'm able to get this donation match through a benevolent type program at where I work. And it really, because a lot of times when you're trying to fundraise for Extra Life or any other cause, it's I don't know. There are a lot of charities like I want to make sure that my money's going somewhere good. And you can really add a lot of reassurance to that. And if they're getting matched too, then it kind of makes it gives them a little more bang for their buck there as well. So a lot of people aren't giving to they have matching programs where they work, and they're not necessarily giving to charity every year. And so when you talk to them like, "Oh, I'm not using this," a lot of folks that were on my teams in previous years have donated to my cause, and then they get their donation match. And so it just adds up over time. Next slide, please. Another good thing that you can do is setting up milestones for yourself. Like, one of the hardest things about Extra Life is it's very self-directed. And so you get, okay, I need to raise $1,000 to get this gold medal. How am I going to do that as a starting point? And it can be a little daunting when you're looking at that. Like, all right, how am I? Everyone's so creative. Everyone's setting up all this stuff. What do I do? And so something that I would recommend for those just starting out, or even if you've been doing this for a while, is set up baby steps for yourself. Set up little goals that you can hit along the way. That not only is it good for you and your motivation, but it's really good for your donor base or potential donors, because they see all this fun stuff that you're doing all the time. Like, I've done things like a spooky pizza where I have a cheese pizza and people can donate to add whatever terrible topping they feel like putting on that pizza. And then I end up doing a stream where I put all the toppings on and I eat it. Like, it's stuff like that, where it's like, there are a lot of great causes, but making your fundraising stick out in a way where it's like, "Oh, I saw Mike doing this crazy thing the other day." And so they're thinking of your fundraising over and over again. And I'm a bit more aggressive than most, but at the same time, it's keeping it top of mind. And that really helps drive it over time. And like I saw Mike doing this wrestling entrance. I saw Mike doing this he made these perler bead things and of Avengers and was giving those out for donations. Like he's always doing a little something here and there. Like if you build yourself milestones and get those in place and start really doing things to be like, all right, I think I'd have a lot of fun doing this. And if I set up milestones at $250, at $500, at $750, it doesn't make that $1,000 as daunting to get to. And eventually, once you get that, you can use that same sort of method to really climb up over time to higher amounts even. One thing that I've found that works pretty well is trying to put together milestone events that help me reach towards the next milestone. And so I talked about Spooky Pizza a bit, and Spooky Pizza is usually a good money maker because it brings in a lot of people that aren't necessarily gamers. It's just people that want to see me eat butterscotch or tuna or terrible things on a pizza. So it's a pretty big audience. And so when I have that as like this year I have that as I make people reach a little further each year to get to the pizza. So it's up there, but if I have an event that's like $1,000 milestone, let's say, and my $1,000 milestone event can help me raise $300, $400, $500. I'm much closer to that next event that they can unlock, and I can really start hyping that up. And so it really helps bounce from one thing to the next. So they don't even realize like, oh, well, I'm getting Mike towards $5,000 or $10,000 because it's rolling up so fluidly that it doesn't really seem like oh, maybe I can give a little bit here, a little bit there to help Mike because it seems like he needs a little boost. It's like, okay, you're getting these $5, $10 donations over time, and it's building up to a much higher number. But can we go to the next slide? These are some milestones and incentive ideas. On the left side here, I believe that is Joe, who is here tonight, and he has showed us the Extra Life tattoo that he got, which is top notch, by the way. But this gives you kind of an idea of like, if you look at Joe's milestones and the ones that we have here, like a lot of these are ideas that go beyond like, all right, you're gonna have game day where you play you can play games for 24 hours straight. You can do 2 12-hour streams. You can do it really any way you want to. Like you don't necessarily have to. If playing games for 24 hours straight is going to be really hard for you, split it up into 3 streams, and you can kind of do multiple events on that. Or you can have Extra Life just like as part of your stream on the side if you want to kind of have that up during the year while you're doing other things. You can totally do that too. It's all up to you. It's no pressure on you to say like, all right, I got to stream for 24 hours and I got to make $2,000 today, and we got to make this happen. Like there's no pressure on you for that. But just hard to remember sometimes. But you'll see here, it's like some of the things I have here, like the Wheel of Misfortune is one that I have, and I did this last year. And so in a similar vein to the pizza, what I have for this is if somebody donated $5 during that stream, I had a wheel of things like Bean Boozles, eating durian candy, which if you've never had durian, it tastes a little bit like if you're eating an onion that's been in a shoe for a while. So not the most pleasant thing in the world, but people like the reactions to you eating it. So, but like I had like do push-ups, do jumping jacks and different things in there for that. But people got into it because it kept making me spin the wheel, and eventually that just pulled in more over time to kind of lead to the next thing. One thing that I'm doing this year is one of my $10,000 milestone is Gandalf game day. And there's this, it's a meme for like an epic sax song where like you see Gandalf is nodding and there's a saxophone playing. And if we hit that before my 24-hour stream, I'll listen to that through the entire 24-hour stream. So that's something that people can earn from that. But there are gaming things here, there are movie things here. It really is just whatever you enjoy and whatever you can bring the most excitement from yourself to your communities. Like people are going to get into it if you're into it. Like that's a big thing to remember too. So go ahead and move on to the next one. So this is just kind of a reminder, like make sure you use all your platforms. If you have a Discord server, just kind of keep them up to date with things that you're doing. If you're streaming on Twitch, make sure that you're getting that message out there to different places. If you're just putting it in your Discord and there are 25 people in your Discord like mine, then it's beneficial for you to also post that on Twitter and post it on Facebook if you're streaming. But if you're doing a bigger event, make sure that you're getting that news out there ahead of time and really kind of having things that people can donate for in advance of your event is good, so that they have already invested in the event. So once they get there, like I'm doing a Zelda event this year where I'm playing the original Zelda for 10 hours straight. That's one of the things that people unlocked earlier in the year. And I'm going to have people pledge for how much they would donate for each time I'm able to beat the game during that 10-hour span. So kind of like a walkathon type of event where like depending on how I perform in the game, then people's donations will come after this. But they've already invested into the event, so they're a little more interested in it going into it. Then local businesses, a lot of local businesses, you can get into the fundraising aspect. I know that on the app now we have QR codes for donations, and there's potential to make business cards on websites like Canva and things like that, where you have your QR code right on there. And a lot of local businesses will let you put your put business cards out, and so that people can easily scan that. Or if you're at a family event and you have your business cards, you can hand that out instead of trying to get somebody to go to your website later by giving them the link and hoping for the best. You can kind of get them right then and there, like you could at a convention or fan expo or something like that, where like you're at the table and signing up and having them sign up there and stuff like that. So a lot of different avenues that you can go for your fundraising in order to really get yourself kicked off. Connecting yourself to the cause is a big one. I talked about this a little bit earlier, but really showing your connection with the hospital in different ways is really important. The longer you do this, the more you'll feel that connection with the hospital in different ways. I know that one of the families that had a champion here a couple of years ago, that he's still in here often, is had juvenile myositis, and we built a connection so strong that when they had an event for the juvenile myositis and to raise money for that, they had a bowling event, and I went to that with them and help them raise money for that as well, and really built a good connection with that family. And so things like that will only motivate you further to really keep pushing for this great cause, and it really builds the connection to other potential donors around you too, because when they see like you're connecting with the kids, like you're talking about raising money for sick and injured kids, but you're really connecting with these kids, these families, and you're really doing all of this and building yourself up and building up your fundraising campaigns to a point where like you're really impacting your whether you're raising $5 or $10,000, you're making a huge impact by doing this. And that's important to remember as well, because like nobody said you had to do Extra Life or raise money for anything, but here you are and you're doing it and putting your time into that. So but yeah, the last thing that before I jump off was, remember that everybody's donor base is different. Something that works for me might not necessarily work for you, but something that works for you might not work for me. I've thrown hundreds of things at the wall over the last 5 years, and probably 2 handfuls of them have stuck. And so it's taken a while to see like what brings people in, what people aren't so interested in, and kind of just working from there. But if you ever have any questions or want to run ideas by me or anything like that, I'm happy to listen. I'm happy to help out. And we can put our best foot forward and, try to hit $1 million one of these years, right? Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Oh no, give me 1 second. My computer logged me out. Okay. All right. Thank you for coming up and sharing some of your best practices in fundraising, Michael. Back to our third and final set of awards this evening. So this time around, we're going to recognize our Guild Energizer Bunny and our Angel in Action. So our Guild Energizer Bunny is going to an individual that is absolutely bringing the energy with one of our corporate teams. Since I joined the team of Boston Children's, this individual has gone above and beyond, both for his team and Extra Life, always ensuring that others know about our mission and the work that we do here, providing opportunities for us to continue to show the world why Boston Children's Hospital has been nationally ranked for the last 9 years as the #1 children's hospital. The Guild Energizer Bunny Award is going to Justin Parker. Let's slowly run away. Thank you. And then last, but certainly not least, the Angel in Action Award. The Angel in Action Award is going to an individual that is a great teammate, always has positive energy, and plays a very active and key role within the Guild. This individual goes above and beyond in supporting Extra Life, whether that's at conventions such as PAX East, pitching our program to random people on the T, speaking on Extra Life as a panelist at other events, or providing encouraging words to others when they're maybe a new program director and only know how to play Mario Kart or Dance Dance Revolution. So the Angel in Action Award is being presented to Angela Messier. This is her award. Unfortunately, Angela cannot be here with us today, but let's make sure that we give Angela a shout out in the Discord or in the Zoom chat. All right, guys. Well, we've approached our open forum portion. So this is an opportunity for anyone to ask questions they might have had throughout the event, or, just have general comments, concerns. And if you're tuning in via Zoom, just drop your question or comment in the chat, and Joy will say it out loud to us. Go ahead, Dan. You know what? We can definitely schedule Mario Kart Day. For everyone on Zoom, Dan's question was, if I play Mario Kart, why aren't we having a Mario Kart Day yet? We can definitely put something on the books, but I want you to know I get really competitive, so it might not be good. We could make a bracket. I could invest some time in that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so, in previous years, the money that has been donated to me, I feel like has been to targeted things, i.e. if you go to the secret studios, is this the more general fund or is this a targeted year?
Yeah, so the question was, in previous years, we have donated to things such as the Seacrest Studios and other child life sections. And then in other years, we've donated to the Every Child Fund. So where are the funds going this year? As of right now, 100% of the funds are going to the Every Child Fund. So it is our most general fund. But if, as you know, things are ever evolving, especially with COVID. And, like with that fund, it's going to the greatest need of the hospital. But as things continue to progress through the year, if there are updates with that, I will make sure to let you guys know. That way, you guys are able to see what's happening and the impact that it's making on the kids. And then Joy, if you want to chime in the back, if there's any questions on Zoom.
We do have one question. So this person is asking, how do I get more involved? It's hard because I'm still under 18, but I love this cause. I've been part of Extra Life now for 3 years, and I want to kick it into gear this year. Any suggestions?
Yeah, I mean, definitely just hosting game nights with your friends. You don't have to be a certain age to be a participant of Extra Life. So, you could do anything from playing Mario Kart or Sonic, or even I'm a big fan of the Shrek game on my Game Boy. You can play anything like that to Call of Duty, Halo, and just hosting game nights with your friends or your family. But if you wanted to go even above that, you could go to your local game store or to your high school, or if you're in college, whichever schooling you're in, if you could go to them and, start a gaming club or something simple like that. Because I think a lot of times we underestimate the things that we have in common with others. And, I think especially during COVID, it made it hard for us to make that connection and to, really bond with people in the ways that we used to. So I think taking that initial leap and starting that club or starting that game night at your local gaming store or starting the game night with all your friends is a great way to get involved. Or even reaching out in the Discord. I know a lot of people here always host Twitch streams throughout the weekend, and reaching out to them and making friends, I think is definitely something that could really be beneficial. And if you don't have the Discord link, you have my email, so you can email me and I can send you the link to join our Discord. Yeah, go ahead.
At the beginning of the presentation, you said it would be rated 400,000, 500?
So
Extra Life itself or the CNN network?
yeah, so the question was, at the beginning of the presentation, I mentioned that we raised $410,000. And so was that just Boston or CMN? That was just the Boston Guild. So the Boston Guild itself raised $410,000 just in 2021, which is huge. It's huge. And, like I said earlier, we are the largest guild and the largest fundraising team on the East Coast. And you know what? We're going to keep that, we're only going up from here, guys. And I refuse to let it go any other way. Joy, are there any other questions?
Yes. When is game day 2022?
Yeah, so game day this year is on November 5th, 2022. And as most people who have participated before know, it always falls on daylight savings. So prepare yourself and your body to game for 25 hours. I know I'm like weaning myself off of caffeine now so that I can like lower my tolerance for game day.
Um,
That makes sense. Go ahead, Joy. Sorry.
Sorry about that. Another question, are there any events happening locally for Tabletop Appreciation Weekend? And when is that?
Yeah, so Tabletop Appreciation Weekend is August 19th through the 21st. And as Sean mentioned earlier, we're ecstatic to pair with Alpha Omega Hobby in Quincy. And we're working on pairing with other tabletop stores, both on the North and the South Shore, to host tabletop tournaments on that entire weekend. Something similar to what we did for Free RPG Day, but hopefully on a much larger scale. But there will definitely be more information about that as we get closer to Tabletop Appreciation Weekend.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Nope, go ahead, Dan.
Before game day, does it go off the website, or is it like you get at the end of the year all in one big lump sum?
Yeah, so Dan's question was, if you raise money prior to game day, does the hospital get the money before game day, or do we get it afterwards in one large lump sum? So the way that it works is we get quarterly disbursement checks from CMN. So based on like the funds that we raise in that quarter, we'll receive that. So we receive it throughout the year and not just like on like at the end of the year in one large lump sum. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so there's a lot of charities out there that aren't the most honest with their money. Like how much per dollar goes to the hospital? From like, say I donate $1 right now, how much of that dollar will make?
All of it, 100% of the funds stay at the hospital and go towards the hospital. So that's one thing that I feel like I get a lot of questions, and it's like, I say we raised $400,000. How much of that is, CMN taking out, or how much of that is Boston Children's not like actually giving to the kids? And luckily we are fortunate to say that 100% of the funds raised goes towards the kids. So like Boston Children's Hospital sees everything that you guys raise. Any other questions? No? Okay.
We
Oh, go
have
ahead.
just one more question on the Zoom. Are there any incentives that we have to look forward to coming up outside of the ones nationally offered?
Yeah, so we actually have a couple of incentives coming up. So at the beginning of August, we'll be doing an incentive specifically from August 1st through the 7th, where we'll be offering a chance to win a set of Red Sox tickets. So if you raise $250 during this time period and no previous fundraising counts, you will be entered for a chance to win a pair, and we'll have 2 pairs ready. And then for Tabletop Appreciation Weekend, which is the 19th through the 21st, the first 125 participants to raise $150 during that weekend will receive a set of Extra Life dice. Like 2, a set, a pair, right? Yeah, that's what I consider a set. 2, yeah. They are the ones that, did you see the ones that we had out on the front? They're those ones. Mm-hmm. Sharon, did you have a question? Okay, yeah. So those are the incentives that we have coming up immediately, but we have other incentives as we approach closer to game day that'll pop up that you guys will have an opportunity to hit and achieve. So yeah, if there aren't any more questions, we're gonna move on. Oh, I think Brooke, yep, this is first.
My name is Chris Reynolds, and I've been participating in Extra Life for 7 years now. The cause was always something that was really kind of near and dear to me. Gaming was just kind of a way to get a lot of people involved. So it was kind of a natural thing. All my friends play games, my family plays games. This year, we really kind of reinvigorated our fundraising efforts back in March of this year. We lost our son, Nathan, just a month before he was supposed to be born. We wanted to do something in his name, so we renamed the team Nathan's Night Owls after him. We started a yard games competition. We had a lot of people coming up to us saying they wanted to participate. We get to pick Children's Hospital and the Children's Miracle Network to raise money for. Every year I've raised money for Boston Children's Hospital. The reason I picked Boston Children's was because I wanted to keep the fundraising efforts local, do something for the local families and children. All the money that goes through Extra Life is given to the Boston Children's Hospital as unrestricted funds. So it can go to pay for life-saving equipment, uncompensated care, really anything they need without having to worry about the financial burden. Extra Life is a lot of things. It's exciting, it's fun, it's very humbling. You go through all these games, you're playing games with your friends, your family. Even if you lost every game that day, every time you check your phone and you see that donation ticker go up, it feels like you've won the whole day. Our team, Nathan's Night Owls, is a relatively small fish to the Extra Life or pond out there. And I've seen teams raise anywhere from tens of thousands of dollars to a couple $100s. And I would just want to let everybody know out there, however much you're raising, just keep it up. You're making a difference to a child and a family out there. To anyone out there thinking about doing Extra Life, or even if this is the first time they're hearing about it and they're interested in it, I'd say if you have a game night out there, you're playing disc golf with your friends or something like that, you're already halfway there. There are children and family out there that really need a little bit of help, and all you have to do is do exactly what you're doing now to get them the help they need. It means a lot to me, and I know some people that play with us, that knowing that there's a family out there that are gifted with the surprise of, reducing some of their financial burden, or wondering if their kid's going to get the equipment or care that they need. And to me, that's really why I do this.
All right, guys. Well, that concludes the event. I do just want to thank you everyone for joining us in person or via Zoom today. The Children's Miracle Network team at Boston Children's is extremely appreciative of you taking the time out of your weekend to join us and learn more about Extra Life and start getting prepared for Game Day 2022. I don't even know if that's just what I said. I'm so excited. I can't even talk. But to end things on a good note, I do want to say, the Boston Extra Life Guild has raised a whopping $2,946,710 since 2010. Sorry, that was like a lot, but we've raised almost $3 million, guys. That's insane. And what I'm thinking we 100% are going to pass the 3 million mark this year. 100%. So if we're playing our way to, 500K, I think we might as well try to hit $3.5 million, right? I don't know, guys, I think it's doable, right? So that's our good note that we're going to end on. And just keep that in mind. You guys have raised over $3 million. That's huge. So thank you. For everybody still here, oh, are we still on Zoom? Well, everybody that's in person, make sure you grab a goodie bag, grab a cookie, take some pictures, please, and make sure you check out the dream wall. It almost made me cry earlier, so take some tissues.